Hello, 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 and today is not a combo guide, a tier list, play this character, or trying to influence you in any way, shape, or form. What this is a series of case studies on all characters in the game in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and today we're covering Trunks. Now, Trunks, at a glance, if you did watch the Android saga, not only is a character with a big fat sword, no pun intended. Trunks is really stylish, so he's really got lots of moves to dazzle the opponent with lots of strings. If you really want to mix up your opponent, bait them into things they shouldn't be doing, and just use speed and movement to kind of really mix up the opponent, Trunks is for you. That's what Trunks is for. Now, as always, when we speak about characters, we speak about zones. So that's how we speak about characters. In this series, we talk about up close, mid-range, and far. So I'll be referring to the characters throughout this case study. I'll be referring to the characters in close range, mid-range, and far. And I'll be going through their buttons in the air, supers, specials before we go into game plan. So let's get started. So first we're starting up close. So up close, Trunks is 5L. Not a lot of range, but he's -5. He can't chain his 5L. He's 2L, -5. The thing about this 2L, it does not hit low. So you see that? Doesn't hit low there. Trunks is LL, obviously being -7, so Trunks necessarily can't really stagger, so he really has to kind of go through his strings. There's no stagger points for Trunks. It's 2M. Is actually really good range, so this is round start. Still -7. Give me up to -5 when it's really far. His 5M is -9. It's 9 frames, so again this is still minus. So a lot of Trunks' pressure, he's not really here to stagger like most characters. He really has to pull through his entire buttons and end at this 5L. Anything past 5L is punishable. So if he does LL, punishable. 2M punishable, 5M punishable. Is 5H, -17. 2H is actually one of the slower 2Hs, being at -18. Yeah, his jump M, really good button for up close. For cross ups here. His jump H, the Satan jump H, this is a good move in mid range as well. It hits from an obscene angle. That's from an obscene angle, so you gotta watch out for this. And yeah, those are most of Trunks' his buttons up close and in the air. Now supers, Trunks has 2. Burning attack, rest in peace Frieza. And he has rest in peace Cell. Lots and lots of damage. That's a grab there, so watch out for that. Someone's mashing it out. Now those are specials. Now we got supers. Let's go into specials. Specials, Trunks is 246L. If you look here, I'll put on invincibility. See here, if someone was doing DR, this would hit them. This is 26 frames, and this will hit someone. But this, bear in mind, this can be if your opponent does 2H, which most opponents do. That can be 2H'd. His M version, you see that there? His M version as well can be 2H'd. But on block you're plus. So that one, it takes longer, but he's +2. This one, so this is really good to mix up so Trunks can get a knockdown. Because he doesn't really have a kind of a low option. 236H. Cannot be 2H'd, so if you see that there, that cannot be 2H'd. So that's really good to mix up with the opponent. So your opponent can try all they want, but they're just going to get hit out. Just going to get absolutely spanked out the sky. So do watch out for that when you are playing Trunks. Even 256L sometimes, but it depends. But this one especially. This is -5. So the only thing Trunks has is obviously the 256M. Now, most importantly to Trunks is has this 5S. That is really fast, obscenely fast. This is very good. It blows through most other key blasts in the game, and it's really fast. But you gotta be careful with this, just in case someone reflects it, because it can be punished. He's 236S. is minus 16. And more importantly for Trunks, is 214 has a follow-up. So 214S here. This will go through Ki Blasts. And this is Trunks' primary entry. So combined with an assist, this allows Trunks to really set up situations where your opponent has to guess. If you hold down the S button, Trunks does this motion here, where he keeps the Ki Blast vulnerability, so he'll go through Ki Blast, and you can do that. So that's a pretty cool way. Oh, my nose. Oh, sorry about that, my nose is killing me. So that's kind of a cool way to go through for Ki Blast and stuff there. His 214L does this flip like this. Can't really control it, but you can cancel it into something else. Be a special at the apex and coming down. His M version flips back, so one flips forward, one flips back, and you get exactly the same. You're able to do an action. If you do the H version, depending on how you hold it, it flips forward. So if you hold back during it, at any point you can control the momentum. So if you're up close to your opponent, you hold back, it does this. It's all about timing. So if he goes high, it's all about timing this. With a bit of practice, you can hit your opponent like this, or disastrously hit them in front on 60. Look at this. There we go. See, like this, you can do all these really cool combinations, especially with assists. There we go. So with a bit of practice, you can able to just steer that. Now we can spend hours here talking about Trunks' specials, his supers, and going through all these beautiful things. But as always, we're here talking about win conditions and game plans, and what's Trunks really looking for. Now, Trunks is a character at face value, as you saw. He has getting in or winning Ki Blast wars. Trunks can do because of this button here. If you're facing someone like Gotenks, Trunks doesn't really worry about. He's not really worrying about what Ki Blast. So he never has to worry about this game here. Let's see if I do this properly. He never has to worry in this situation, so that's not really his focus. So the full screen game isn't a problem. It's about when you say in the mid range and close. And so Trunks has lots and lots of kind of things that are minus on block. So his strength is the corner pressure. So it's Trunks' biggest strength, obviously not getting in from here is a problem, but his biggest strength is obviously his corner pressure and the block stun. Because in the corner, you can't walk backwards. So you have to kind of deal with Trunks when he's doing all this crazy stuff. And not just the corner, but just block stun in general. So he's really looking for assists that have some type of block stun. So if we go with Cell's assist, plus 29, up close. Combine that with Trunks' flips. You can put in really unique situations where your opponent really has to kind of guess. So assist with high block stun that allow Trunks to do flips all over the place, where your opponent has to guess if you're going to go high, low, left, right. Trunks really enjoys those. So, and with conversions as well. So Trunks, if you combine block stun and conversion, so if somebody like with Cell's assist, Trunks enjoys assists that allow him to do conversions, to travel really far, to put the opponent into this corner, where Trunks is really strong. So getting his opponent in the corner where he can exact block strings of death, literally. He can still do really cool block strings. Let's see if I do this. Where your opponent really has to guess. Trunks really enjoys those. So people like Cell's A assist. This we got Beerus's B. Let's try Beerus's A. Let's try both B assists as well. So if we've got this one. And we're talking about conversions and corner pressure. This doesn't really allow him. So these assists aren't really allowing Trunks to. So if we do Cell's assist, there's not enough block stun for Trunks to flip in the air and get more action. So that's really hard for Trunks. So but with Beerus's B assist, it's plus 31. So maybe this is a bit better for Trunks here. So that's something to bear in mind, especially if you're playing this assist. So that probably wouldn't help him. So whereas with Beerus's A, especially with the obscuring his vision, your opponent's vision. You can do some really cool stuff. Now C assists are kind of go without fail. Obviously C assists will always really be helpful for Trunks, but he doesn't really need help getting in. So if we're up this far, he doesn't really need. That's plus 16 and that's plus 25. So you can see that that's not really helping him either with corner pressure, blocks, or even conversions potentially, but those aren't really helping Trunks when he's inside to really deal that damage, mixing the opponent up with this, using the H flips, using this, or even using same side super dash. These aren't really helping Trunks do those things there. So that's something you got to think about. On the other side, we have Gotenks. So if we were Trunks, you could somehow mix up Gotenks' So if we mixed up with Trunks, if we had Gotenks assist, if we do M flip and to dash, this is a staple Trunks mix up. So if you do flip into jab into dash, Trunks is able to dash after. So if we use someone like Gotenks assist, there it wouldn't work there, but if we do one more time. See, we can go high, or we can do Trunks to do. And go low. Would look a lot better than that though. There, we can do a high-low there. To really mix the opponent up and go low, or... See if I get a dash. Oof. There we go. It's been a while since I played Trunks. There we go. See, player 2 side. There we go. So you can probably get a dash with a bit of practice. There we go. So with a bit of practice, you're able to put your opponent in situations, especially in the corner. Trunks has all these options, or you could even just do this slash, but it kind of looks like this. So mixing up between those two things are really helpful. So Gotenks, obviously we saw that as helpful. Videl assist, this really does, it's only got 21, so it's not going to allow Trunks to flip with a jab and go low, as you see there. That's a lot of, see, he's -9 when he lands and do the low, which is around, this is a lot. So you probably won't be able to do Videl into low, and your opponent probably will be able to reflect. So that's something you got to think about when you are playing Trunks. Now, if you're fighting against Trunks, we talked about fighting as Trunks, and kind of game plans he's looking for with partners. Now, if you're fighting against Trunks, this is where it gets really exciting. So far range, without bar, Trunks that doesn't have any pressure that isn't really reactable. So if he has no bar, aside from using 5S, your opponent can reflect, and it is -23. So you do have to be wary of that. If the opponent is wary to punish, they could probably punish. Like there. That's actually a punish. So if your opponent is really on the ball, something to be wary about. That is a straight up punish. And second, more importantly, stuff we've been doing with beams as well. You do have to be careful with throwing beams full screen. So aside from that, Trunks only has specials that don't really reach. He has a flip, yes. He can flip to get in. But again, this is a risk he's taking. So if he wants to traverse space, while he's flipping, he's not invulnerable to key blasts or anything like that. So if you're doing key blasts, he can probably get hit there. Key blasts or whatever, or even a Kamehameha of your own if you're someone like Cell. And close range, without EX, as I explained with his strings, once he goes past this 5L, everything else he does after is -7, -10, -9, -17, -18. So Trunks really isn't gonna. He's not gonna really stagger past this point. Once he's past this point, Trunks really has to take a risk to stay in. If he does this, he really has to take a risk if he really wants to stay in. So if he does if you do this to your opponent, there's nothing he can do to kind of extend that. If the opponent is holding back as well, especially versus a character like Trunks. Put that back, sorry. Because he has no range on his 5L or his 2L, He's not really inviting the opponent to do anything else. And if he does 2L 2L to confirm, this is another thing you got to think about when you are playing Trunks is. Let's take this off. If he's doing 2L 2L to confirm here, he can't do 5LL. The next after this, he can't do anything else that's hitting most characters. So once he pushes you out, the only thing he can hit you with is something that might miss. So it's something to be worried about when you're facing Trunks, that every time he does a string, it's a risk. So your opponent's more likely to challenge. So that's something to think about playing as Trunks, and if you're playing for Trunks, that there are a lot of challenge points with Trunks where he has to end in obviously him being -5. So your opponent can actually take their turn. Now without EX, like I said, he takes risks. So if he has EX, he can do this to kind of bait you out, or this to bait your 2H. Or if you're pressing L, again, see, unless you're doing a flip back, Trunks doesn't really have anything there to stop the opponent from kind of mashing, unless you do strings itself. And doing LL into, obviously, into this here. But even then, the damage mid-screen isn't really worth it. However, in the corner, this is where Trunks shines. This is where Trunks runs. Let's see, I saw this. Old age. So there you can do really great combos in the corner with Trunks, and really experimental combos that you can do here. Now let's just go back to the character select screen. So we loosely talked about Trunks, how he really enjoys situations where his opponent is kind of grounded. So once his opponent is grounded or blocking, or in situations they can't move, say if that was post level 3 or with assists, he really enjoys that pressure. So assists or partners that allow him, so as a game plan, so assists or partners that allow him for those conversions to kind of go into quote unquote his level 3, where your opponent has to take what you're doing, or he's allowing assists that allow him those blocks done. That's what Trunks is really looking for. So we saw with Cell, his A assist was helpful, whereas his B not so much, and his C not so much. We also saw with Beerus how his A and B assists both helped Trunks. The C had less blocks done, so it wasn't really helpful for the corner pressure, the blocks done. Potentially the conversions, as Trunks going into his level 3, he could go into those situations. So that's kind of what Trunks is looking for there. Now fighting against Trunks, we talked about at far range, without bar, he has no real pressure that isn't reactable. So yes, he has the 5S, which is really fast. If your opponent is really savvy, they can just block that. And he only has Masenko and using the flips. So full screen, he's taking risk with these options. So unless you're not doing anything at all, Trunks, yes, he can beat your fireballs. If you're not doing anything, it's a neutral game. Now at close range, without EX or without even bar, Trunks is taking risk with these strings. So every time he's doing these LLs into 5Ms, into 2Ms, into 5Hs, if you're pressing no buttons there, if you're choosing the correct time to press, Trunks can't really stagger. Trunks really has to end his strings into either, you saw with the Change the Future, the 214S, or using the flips to kind of maneuver. Trunks really has to take those little risks. Not risks, sorry, you have to engage, go fully into those specials to kind of keep himself safe. Otherwise, he's at threat of being punished. But yeah, I hope this video helped someone. As always, leave a like if you liked the video, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, I don't really mind either way. But we're trying to create this community where we really talk about characters. Now, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.